Hi everyone, Michelle Sizemore here. I'm a Creative Memories advisor, and today you'll learn how to make this two-page layout using the Creative Memories on the Bright Side collection. I'm going to give you a close look at one of these pages, kind of give a look to the textures of the paper, because I'm actually going to have to use a different paper than this to make my layout because I've used up all of this paper. I'm waiting on another order to come. But it's got like some little crosses on it, and this purple, I am going to use this purple, has like a little dot on it, and I love this watercolor rainbow look. And this is white cardstock, and then I use the cardstock colors that come with the On the Bright Side collection. There's a packet of cardstock that goes with it. Okay, so we're going to set this aside and get started. This is all the stuff that I used. I've got it in a Power Project folder. I'm actually not going to make this one on pages today because I do have to use cardstock. So what I would do if I use cardstock, I would put them in top loading sleeves. This was if I was going to scrapbook on the page, if I was going to be able to use the designer paper, but I ran out of it. Okay, so I want to show you kind of a newer thing that I haven't shown on these videos. But this is a fill and file sleeve that goes in our sort and stash binder. I have shown that, but I want to show you how you can also use it in your Power Project folders. I needed these long pockets to put some random things that I had cut out. So I'm going to store that in here, and I'm going to put the holes facing up and put it down like this, and it fits in really well into your Power Project folder. So you can put all your papers and stuff in here. I'm not going to explain this in detail because I've done it a number of times, but this is just everything that I used for this page. So let's take it all out. So I have used this rainbow stripe paper so much. This is the only good piece I have left of it. And I had to piece it together to make it 12 inches. I pieced it together right here so that I could cut the strips to show you for this layout. I love this paper. Okay, so we're going to make this on, this is what I'm going to use as the background for this because I am out of that pattern paper. And this is the yellow that comes in the cardstock pack for this collection. You can also buy it separately. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is cut my purple strips. I'm going to grab my purple paper. You can see that little design on there. It's kind of a, I love this collection, the watercolory kind of a look. It's so pretty to me. Okay, I have notes here. So I'm going to cut two strips that are 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm only going to show you how to make one page of this, so you can just duplicate it to make the other page. So really you would end up cutting 4 strips, but we're just going to do one page, which is 2 strips. So I'm going to take my trimmer, pick up my arm, and I want to line it up with the 3/4 inch mark. Let's go ahead and pull out my arm and my little foot. That gives it some stability and extra measuring space, makes it level. So I'm going to put my paper at the top. It's going to rest up here at the top and stay straight there. I'm going to line it up at the 3/4 inch mark right there and make sure it follows that line all the way down, and it does, and it's straight at the top. So I'm going to cut one. Of course, I have the straight blade in here, and then I'm going to do one more exactly the same. Okay, so I've got those. Now I want to cut my rainbow strips. Here we go. And I cut those to, okay, yes, I figured out the best way to measure for me, and it is to line it up with this first grid line. Right here, the first dark line you see all the way down on the right. So that's where I'm going to line it up, and it's going to make it the width I need, and I'm going to make sure it's straight all the way down, and I need to cut 2 of these for one page. Of course, you would cut 4 for both pages, but we're just making one. So there's that. Line it up to that grid line. There's so many things you can use as guides to measure on here. Sometimes you just have to play with it to get it like you like it, and then you'll know where to measure to cut it next. Okay, so there we go. I've got those two. And now I need to cut my this wavy border. Two of those. So I'm going to grab my white cardstock and my border maker system. Put those right there to get them out of the way. And here we go. There's the cartridge that we're going to use. It's new this month. And here is my paper holder. So we're going to put the cardstock in. Line it up with the edges of the tray. Flip the tray underneath. Pop it in place. My cardstock goes here. The notches match up, and when they do, it fits together underneath. Gently pull it out, plop it in place, and punch. Gently pull it out, plop it in place, and punch. And as I start having to reach further, I'm going to pull it in toward me. I'm standing up to do this. It works better for me when I stand up. And punch. So I'm going to set these scraps aside. I can actually use these for something later. And I'm going to do it on the other side as well. I'm going to grab my trimmer, get a straight edge on here, wasting as little cardstock as possible. And yeah, I've got a straight edge. So I want to cut one more row of these. I think I forgot to do it ahead of time, which I usually do, but that's okay. I'm going to do this real quick and not even explain it because I just explained it. Once you get used to this, you can use it really fast. Okay, now I need to look at my notes again. I cut my 2 rows of white the wave. Okay, so I'm going to grab my trimmer, and to get it the width I need, I'm going to line it up at this 2 centimeter mark right here. So the inches are up here, the centimeters are here, and I want to line it up so that the outermost tips of my waves line up with that 2 centimeter line all the way down, and it needs to be straight at the top. So those are lined up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to cut, and I'm just going to get a skinny strip of waves, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Line it up at 2 centimeters, make sure it's straight, and cut. So now I have those. Okay. So we're just going to do one page of this and get all my little pieces. There we go. Now, first thing I want to do is mount my purple down because it goes underneath these 2 pieces. So I'm going to grab my repositionable tape runner and my mat. This is just a silicone mat to keep sticky stuff from getting on my table. Which reminds me, I noticed I have some sticky stuff on here, and I just want to show you. I mean, no matter how hard I try, I end up getting stuff on here because I use it all the time. But this is called a pickup square. And when you get sticky stuff, like, I don't know if y'all can see those little dots. Sometimes I'll take my little multi-purpose tool. Yeah, that's getting it. They just look like little dark dots. And I'm scraping them. You could also use, if you have those Pampered Chef little scrapers that are so great for using on dishes, they're just bigger versions of this. They work so well. And then you can take your pickup square and rub it once you've loosened it up, and most of those things will come right up. So I just want to show you how, if you do get adhesive on your table, that's a good way to clean it. You can also scrape it with your fingernail if it's just a little bit. So those are our tools that we use to clean up adhesive. Okay. So I'm going to put this repositionable tape runner on the back here. And this is the purple. And I'm going to put it down here at the bottom all the way down so you don't see any yellow sticking out past the edge on the sides or the bottom. And we're going to mount this piece at the top. This is such a fun collection to work with. It really is. It just makes me happy. And we are, speaking of making me happy, it's a gloomy day in Knoxville. We were supposed to get, last week they were calling for 12 to 18 inches of snow. So I rushed home from Kentucky, where I was visiting my aunt, and came home and went to the grocery store and all of that. We didn't even get half an inch. We did get a little bit of ice, but that forecast was wrong. But that's okay. It is what it is. Okay, so we're going to mount this rainbow paper on top of this curvy, wavy piece. So, well, let's mount the curvy, wavy piece first. I need to look at it and see if there's any parts I need to clean up. Sometimes when you use these, it leaves you with a few little rough edges that need to be trimmed. I think I'm going to grab my micro scissors. They're the easiest to use for trimming little things. Looks pretty clean. I do see right here. It's just got kind of a rough edge to it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mount this down first, not my rainbow on top of it first. I'm going to put some repositionable on the back, and then I'm just going to line this up to where about that much purple shows. It's a matter of preference, but let's actually line it up. Now, I want to leave room to put that rainbow over it for the white not to show through, but yeah, I'm happy with about that much showing at the top. And I would like to, here's the other one. When it's white on a white table, it's hard to find. So let's see. This one looks good. Sometimes if you have a rough edge, you can take your fingernail or a little, like a nail file, those little rectangle little blocks that are files, and go over it. But this is fine. It's not bad. So I'm going to put some repositionable tape runner on the back of this piece and do the same thing on the bottom as I did on the top. I'm going to look at this piece and try to place it as close to this one as possible. Yeah. I love this Boilermaker cartridge. It's very, very versatile, I think. So now I'm going to put my repositionable tape runner on the back of this rainbow stripe paper. My favorite piece of paper from the whole collection, which is why I've just about used it all up. Okay, now I'm going to mount this down right here where I had the white just sort of peeking out past it with that wavy border, and this rainbow just gives it a touch of the different colors and makes it look interesting, I think. Put some repositionable tape runner on the back here and do the same thing on the bottom. You want about the same amount to show on the bottom as you have on the top. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently rub it all to make sure my adhesive sticks down. And I notice a little purple peeking out past that, so I would just take my scissors and trim that. I'm not going to bother with that on the video and take time, but that's what I would do. Now, I'm going to do this part. So this is a card that comes from the Variety Map Pack. We're going to put it up here. I believe I did cut that down, and I forgot to write the measurements, so let me grab a pencil. I cut it down a little bit to make it closer match up with this. Yeah. So I want it to be centered and I want it to be as wide as that. So that's where I'm going to cut on each side. And I'm going to place that line on the left-hand side dotted line of my mat right here. That's where my blade comes down. I think I got a little too close to the right of it. Let's just give it another little tiny, oops, I didn't hold that down very well. Okay, there we go. I'm good with that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but. And then I can see this pencil on this left-hand side dotted line. There we go. I also cut it a little bit on the top and bottom. And honestly, this is what I do. I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to show you what I do because I want it to be the same. And so I try to center it top and bottom and then draw my pencil lines. And then I'm just going to cut. These particular cards are just a little bit bigger than 4x6 photos. So I just, for my layout, I think it looked, y'all, I need to slow down. There we go. I was talking and not paying enough attention, but there we go. I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to mount this down on a piece of, on a mat. I'm going to create a mat with this greenish color paper. I think that's called Island Waters. Not 100% sure. But I would just cut, I would measure this and then I would cut my mat 1/4 of an inch longer and 1/4 of an inch taller. So I'm going to show you how to do that on a photo, so I'm not going to go through all that. And then here I added some stickers just to make it a little bit more fun. Now I want to show you a little trick I did on this. These stickers that come with this collection are transparent. So they don't have white backgrounds, so you're going to see what's behind it just a little bit. I didn't really want to see the cloud behind this rainbow. I mean, it looks really pretty when you just put it on white. So I'm going to actually mount that on white first. So here's a little piece of white cardstock. And you may not want to do this, but I just kind of did. And then I'm just going to take my micro scissors and kind of cut around it to where there's like a little white border around it. And then it has a white background and you won't see through it. Now for some things, I love that they're transparent. But if I'm putting it on two different colors of things like white and blue, I just didn't want that blue to show through. And I'm just going to take these micro scissors and just sort of cut around freehand just so there's like a little white peeking out past my rainbow. I love these stickers. Okay, now I'm going to actually do it here too in the middle. These micro scissors are great for little intricate things like this. Okay, so I'm very happy with that. And I would put that right here. And then I would put a little cloud here. But I don't have any more of the clouds. I used them all, so I'm just going to put the rainbow. Put some repositionable tape runner on the back. Put my little rainbow and then position it like you like it. And then put your little cloud. So that's how I would do that. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you guys. How to do your photos and mats. And again, I would mount this on top of that Island Waters, that pretty green. And I would cut it 1/4 of an inch longer and 1/4 of an inch taller, 1/4 of an inch bigger both ways. So I'll demonstrate right here. So if you have a 6x4 photo, I'm going to grab a pretend 4x6 photo. To get my mat, I would cut it 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. It's 1/4 of an inch bigger this way and 1/4 of an inch bigger this way. And let's do that. You can make a fatter mat if you want to. That's just kind of what I like to do. So I'm going to go pull my arm out. Make sure my foot is out. Make sure everything's level. Nothing's up underneath. Then I'm going to line this up at the top. I love this pink color. It's so fun. And I'm going to go to 6 1/4. right there. And then I'm going to line this up at the top to keep it straight and cut with my straight blade. And then I'm going to flip it to the left one time, go to 4 1/4 and cut. And then I would save this for future projects or for my other mats. And I would mount this on top of here. So this would be my pretend photo on top of here. And then I would get the look of a skinny mat, which is what I like. This is why I like to use repositionable typewriter. One of the reasons. Because sometimes I get my photos down and then I'm like, oh, I need to move it over just a tad. Okay, I'm good with that. So that's how I would do that. Okay, so now let's look at the final thing. I think this is a fun layout. It's fun and bright and cute. And it's cheerful. Okay, so here is the final layout. And I would just put these pages in my Creative Memories album, feed the straps through the staples, and then I would put my page protectors on from this side when I'm done. So, there you go. We also have a kit, a simple page kit called On the Bright Side. You'll see me in another video using that, and sometimes I'll order extras of those kits and mix and match them because then it gives me more components that go with this collection. I say kit, really it's a collection, but anyway, I love it. So you're going to see me playing with this a whole lot because it's so fun. Thanks for watching my video and hope you guys have a great day. Bye.